The trade war is on. Can Trudeau trump the Donald? I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. I have to tell you, Wednesday looked like a really dark day for Canadian business. Not only were the Americans cutting their taxes to become competitive, there was talk all day that the Trump administration was going to sign an executive order to kickstart the process of withdrawing from NAFTA. Not renegotiating the trade deal, withdrawing from it, as in pulling up the drawbridge, keeping us out. And if any of this goes down, it's going to make those spats over milk and softwood lumber look minor. So minor, as Trump might say. Some of you may not like NAFTA. You might think, this trade deal stinks. But here's the reality. Our current day economy is built upon the favored access the deal gives us to the American market. That's right. The main benefit of NAFTA for Canada is it gives our companies, our producers, favored access to the United States, for most products anyway. And that's a favored access that most countries in the world would kill for. And take away that access, the speedy customs processing, the lack of tariffs, and Canada's economy would be in for a world of hurt. So it was good to see the White House walk back from that stance late Wednesday, something that Trump spoke about on Thursday.
Well, I was going to terminate NAFTA as of 2 or 3 days from now. The president of Mexico, who I have a very, very good relationship, called me. And also the Prime Minister of Canada, who I have a very good relationship, and I like both of these gentlemen very much, they called me. And they said, rather than terminating NAFTA, could you please renegotiate? I like them very much. I respect their countries very much. The relationship is very special. And I said, I will hold on the termination. Let's see if we can make it a fair deal.
So the negotiations to a new deal should start soon, and depending on how that goes, it could be good for Canada or it could be bad. Whatever you think of Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, though, for the sake of the country and jobs here, you have to hope that he gets a good team of negotiators. And it better be a fair deal for all, or Trump says he's out. He'll withdraw right away.
We will renegotiate. Now, if I'm unable to make a fair deal, if I'm unable to make a fair deal for the United States, meaning a fair deal for our workers and our companies, I will terminate NAFTA. But we're going to give renegotiation a good, strong shot.
But NAFTA and what might happen there, that's just part of the economic woes that Canada is now facing due to the Trump administration. Following through on their campaign promises, the Trump team unveiled their new tax plan. On the personal side, income tax. They're going to go from 7 personal income tax brackets down to just 3, 10%, 25%, and 35%. And they'll also dramatically increase what we call the basic personal exemption. This has some potential to draw workers to the U.S., the return of the so-called brain drain that we saw in the late 90s and early 2000s. But it's on the business side that we could really get hurt. Under Stephen Harper and the Conservatives, the Canadian corporate tax rate at the federal level was cut from 19% down to 15%. It was all to try and make Canada more competitive, make it more attractive for people to invest, start businesses. The move was actually one of the reasons that Tim Hortons reorganized as a Canadian company again. They moved their headquarters back from the U.S. tax haven of Delaware, and it was also a main reason they did the reverse takeover of Burger King, setting up both companies with head offices in Canada. Well, now the Trump administration is moving towards lower taxes. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin announcing that the days of the 35% corporate tax rate in America will soon be over.
Under the Trump plan, we will have a massive tax cut for businesses and massive tax reform and simplification. As the president said during the campaign, we will lower the business rate to 15%. We will make it a territorial system.
From 35 down to 15%, that's an economic shock, not just for the business community in the U.S., but also Canada. Now, I know that many companies didn't pay that 35% rate. In fact, some paid nothing. They paid lawyers and accountants to find every loophole. That practice is about to become less lucrative. The U.S. is about to become more competitive, and Canada less so. Ask yourself, if you were setting up a new plant, a new business, which side of the border would you consider going on? Do you go on the American side where you're guaranteed access to the larger U.S. market, regardless of what happens to NAFTA, where the tax rate just lowered to the same rate as Canada? Or do you go north of the border and set up in Canada, where corporate taxes have gone up in some provinces? They might go up in BC if the NDP wins. Where taxes on high-income earners have risen across the country, where payroll taxes such as EI premiums have already gone up, They're going to rise again, and that's before the CPP hike, where carbon taxes are already in place or soon to be implemented, and then they're going to rise, according to the diktat of Justin Trudeau. Trudeau and his team have been warned about this for some time now, that they were on the wrong path. They were told that Trump's moves were coming, and they chose to push ahead, saying that pricing carbon was the most important thing for Canada and its economy. Well, pricing carbon won't feed a family, it won't create jobs. In fact, it's going to kill jobs, especially combined with the latest American moves and the threats over NAFTA. Trudeau and his Liberals, they better ditch their blind adherence to their green ideology and change their game plan before the Donald truly trumps Canada. If you like the Rebel video you just watched and never miss another one again, click here to subscribe or head on over to therebel.media and become a member so you can access premium content.